Hey everyone, this is Kevin from themathworld.com, and today we're going to be looking at triangles, in particular 3 different types of triangles. We're going to talk about some of the properties that you need to know when dealing with geometry. And the 3 triangles are equilateral, scalene, and isosceles. And the first one we're going to take a look at is equilateral. And an equilateral triangle is one that all 3 sides are the same, and a lot of times if a side is the same, you'll see this little line through each of the sides, meaning they're all the same. And anytime you see an equilateral triangle, if you're given one of the sides 8, then they're all going to be 8. And it doesn't matter how long the sides are, the angles themselves will all be 60 degrees. All the angles of a triangle are going to add up to 180. So if we have 3 of these, we know they're all the same. So 180 divided by 3 is 60. So anytime we're given an equilateral triangle, the sides may be different. They're all going to be the same. The number might be different, but the angles will always be 60 degrees. So an equilateral triangle can never be a right triangle. The next one we're going to look at is an isosceles triangle. An isosceles triangle is one that has 2 identical sides, but not a third. So in this case, these 2 lines are the same in length. So if this length was 10, this length would be 10. And what this also means is, since these 2 lines are the same, that these 2 angles are also the same. So if we're given, let's say this angle up here is, let's do 50 degrees. And they say, what is this angle? Well, what we can do is, since we know all the angles add up to 180 degrees, we can take 180 divided by 50, and we're left with 130. And we know both of these 2 angles have to add up to 130. And since we know they're the exact same, all we have to do is do 130 divided by 2. And we're left with 65. Because both of these have to be the exact same. So in this case, if we're given 50 degrees for this isosceles triangle, then we know that both of these angles are 65 degrees. And that's a nice little way to know angles in an isosceles triangle. Another thing you want to know is that a right triangle can be an isosceles triangle. So if both of these lines are the same, of course this right here is our right triangle, and that's 90 degrees. But if these 2 angles would be the same in an isosceles triangle, both of these would be 45 degrees. And we know that any time an isosceles triangle is a right triangle, they'll be 45 degrees. But if you wanted to calculate it out, as we talked about before, 180, all 3 angle degrees in a triangle, any triangle, will equal 180. Minus 90, which is the right triangle, is 90. And since both of these angles are the same, then we can just take 90 and divide by 2. And that gives us 45. So if you wanted to calculate it out and see why, this is why both of those are going to be 45 degrees. But again, as we just showed in the previous example, an isosceles triangle is not always a right triangle, but it can be. And the last one we're going to look at is a scalene triangle. And a scalene triangle is one where all the sides are different. So we'll just take a look at this triangle right here, and all the sides are different, so you won't see any of these lines saying that any of the lines are the same. So in this instance, to find one of the angles, we're going to have to be given 2 of the other angles. So if we're given, let's say this one is 100 degrees and this one is 30 degrees, and they say find this angle. Well, again, we already know that there's 180 degrees in every triangle, and we're given 100, so we'll go ahead and subtract 100, that's 80, and subtract 30, our other angle that we're given, and we're left with 50 degrees. So this angle is 50 degrees. And so scalene also can be a right triangle. So let's say we have this triangle right here. Again, none of the sides are the same, and this is a right triangle, so we know that this is 90 degrees. So a right triangle can be scalene or it can be isosceles, either one, but it can be equilateral because in an equilateral all the angles are 60 degrees. But in here, if we're given, let's say 40 degrees up here, and they say find this angle, all we have to do, again, is take 180, subtract 90, which is our right angle, gives us 90, and then subtract 40, which is our other given angle. Subtract 40 from 90 and we're given 50. So this angle right here is 50 degrees. And these are the three types of triangles that you're going to come across. So we have your equilateral, your isosceles, and your scalene. And this is how you can use the knowledge of the triangles to find different degree angles and such for anything that you're going to be using in geometry. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you check out themathwell.com to try out some examples of these triangles, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.